Hello everyone, this is Neha Kakkar. Welcome to Neha Kakkar Science Tutorials. Today we are going to study about the living organisms and their surroundings. In this particular topic, we are going to study about adaptations of different organisms and the adaptations. So let's start. Habitat is the natural home of an organism. The surroundings in which a particular organism is found living in nature is called its habitat. So we can define habitat as the region or a place where organisms live. It means a dwelling place or a natural home of an organism. Like fish lives in water, right? Can you imagine a fish without water? No. Similarly, lotus plant grows in water. It doesn't grow on land. So water is the habitat for the fish and the lotus, right? One thing important to note here, like if we bring a fish and keep it in aquarium, so aquarium is not called as the habitat of that fish because it is not the natural home of the fish. All right. So habitat is the dwelling place, natural home of an organism. It provides an organism everything it needs to survive, like food, shelter, proper weather conditions in order to breathe and flourish. Several kinds of plants and animals may share the same habitat also. So like right now I've given an example of fish and lotus. They are sharing the same habitat, that is aquatic habitat. So similarly, there are so many plants and animals that grows or live in land. So they are called terrestrial habitat and they are sharing the same habitat. Now the next term is adaptation. The presence of specific features or certain habits which enable a plant or animal to live in a particular habitat is called adaptation, right? So there may be specific features or certain habits which help an organism to live in a particular habitat. So it has accordingly adapted itself according to its natural home. So this is very important because if the plants or animals which have not adapted themselves, they are not able to survive in particular region. So they have to adapt themselves. And several animals or plants have adapted to their surroundings in different ways, which we will learn about in later phase of this presentation. Now let's learn about the components of habitat. So there are two components of habitat, as habitat includes both living and non-living things which may be there around the abode of an organism. Thus, both living and non-living things together make a habitat or an environment for an organism. So you are seeing here, I have made two categorization. One is biotic and another one is non-biotic, or you can say abiotic components. Biotic components includes plants, animals, microbes, whereas abiotic components includes all the non-living things such as rock, soil, air, temperature, moisture, sunlight. So all the non-living things are called as the abiotic components of an habitat. In a habitat, both living and non-living components interact with each other, right? So next is types of habitat. Primarily, there are two kinds of habitat. One is aquatic and another one is terrestrial. Terrestrial habitat means the plants and animals that lives on land. So terrestrial habitats are the places on land. Terrestrial meaning living on land, living on land. So all the habitats, it can be desert, pasture areas, ponds, plain land जो होती है हमारी valleys, hill, mountains, ponds and river banks. So they all are called as terrestrial habitats. Next is aquatic. So aquatic means living in water. So ponds, puddles, stream, river, canal, rain, seas, oceans, they all are where water is the medium in which an organism lives. It is called aquatic habitat. Next is, okay, let's learn about the terrestrial habitat first. So terrestrial habitat includes desert, mountain regions, grasslands, polar regions, or rainforest habitats. They all means the places on land, right? So terrestrial habitat include desert, mountains, grassland, polar regions, and rainforest areas. We are going to discuss about adaptations of different plants and animals according to their habitat. So let's start with the desert areas. So the plants and animals which live in desert are called desert habitat. They have adapted themselves according to these conditions because in desert there is a scorching heat of sun, the sand is very hot. So they have to adapt themselves in order to survive. Now, what adaptations they have made, let's study. Okay, let's talk about camels first. So, camel is called as the ship of the desert because it has adapted itself so nicely. So, if you talk of the legs of the camel, they are very long because the sun, because due to the heat of the sun, the sand is very hot. So, in order to protect itself from the heat of the sun, the legs of the camel are very long. Then again, all the plants and animals which live in desert, they have to, lose very less water from their body. They want to store as much water as they can. So if we talk about camels, then they excrete very small quantity of urine. Again, they do not sweat and their dung is also dry. So you can see all these are in order to survive, or you can say to store as much water as they can and to store the water. Again, the snake and rats, which live in deserts because they have to escape themselves from the intense heat, so they dig burrows deep under the ground because the temperature is bit moderate there. And when there is night, it is cooler, they come out and they hunt during nights. Then there we have plants. Plants, if we talk of desert plant, then there is, cactus, very commonly found desert plant. So a very important adaptation a punti or cactus make that their leaves, you know, because deserts are dry and very hot places, so there's scarcity of rainfall, there's very scanty rainfall there, and a lot of direct sunlight falls on the plants. So the soil in desert is sandy and unable to hold much water. So plants like cactus, saguaro are they in order to retain as much water as they can. They do not want their leaves to lose water through transpiration. So leaves are absent and they have modified as such that they are reduced to spines only. So prickly spines discourage animals from eating these plants, and there is also a waxy coating on stems and leaves to reduce water loss. Photosynthesis is interestingly carried out by the stems. The stem is green thick and filled with water. So photosynthesis is carried out by stem by and desert plants. The roots are very long to give go deep into the ground to absorb water. Absorb water करने के लिए उनकी जो roots हैं वो बहुत long होती हैं, and most of the plants are leafless. So these are the interesting adaptations made by the plants and animals of the desert habitat. Next is okay, plants and mountains. So plants on mountains and hills are adapted to grow in very cold temperature, right? So most plants are tall and straight and they are cone shaped, as you can see in the picture also. It's cone shaped so that snow falls off easily from their surfaces. Again, one thing if you notice, they have a needle like leaves, right? So needle leaf like leaves are present so that rain and snow slide off easily. Their needle-like shape, like leaves, present too much water loss and help shed snow easily, right? And again, there's a waxy coating on the leaves to prevent evaporation and loss of water. There's a dark color of the leaves also to allow more solar heat to be absorbed. Many trees have branches that droop downward to help shed excess snow to keep branches from breaking. So this is the trees, these kind of trees having cones, and uh, the tree do not bear flowers but have seeds in cones, so they are called conifers or coniferous trees. The examples include pine, deodar, fir, spruce, larch. If we talk about plants, if we talk about animals living in mountainous regions, then they, if you have seen, even the dogs अगर आपने देखे हो जो हम शिमला या mountainous regions में पाए जाते हैं, even in polar regions, they have very long hair to keep them warm. The hairs are very long and they have a thick fur, so in order to protect themselves from cold. And the hoofs are very strong, so that to bear the cold ice temperature. So these are the adaptations made by plants and animals of the mountainous regions. Next, let us move to the grassland habitat. So grassland habitat adaptations we will discuss about lion and deer. Okay, so lion, if you see, they are carnivore. Lions are carnivore and they have to feed on herbivores like deer or another herbivore organisms. So one adaptation, if you see that their color is light brown, so in order to hide themselves, because they have to catch their prey, so they have to be hide and a dry grassland so that their prey do not escape. Next is the eyes. If you see, the eyes are in front of the face. The eyes are not uh, ways, rather they are in very front in order to have a correct idea about the location of the prey. Now, if we talk about animals along grassland, that is deer. Then deer, they have first they feed on the stems or the leaves of the trees, so they have very strong teeth. Next, they have because every time they need to be keep alert from the carnivore, so they have long ears and the eyes are sideways to look in all directions and to escape from danger. They are also very good runners to run away from the predators. So these are some adaptations of the grassland habitat. Next is aquatic habitat. Aquatic habitat, I told you the like plants and animals which are found in water. So adaptation, if we see in fish, okay. So first they have fish or other marine animals, aquatic life. So the body is covered with scales to protect it from decay underwater. The shape is boat shape, is streamlined. Fins, they have the fish have fins instead of limbs. I mean, they do not have any leg and hands. Rather, they have fins. Fins act as oars and help the fish in swimming. Eyes in the fish are without eyelid. If you see, fish की कोई eyelid नहीं होती है. They are covered with a transparent membrane which protect their eyes from danger underwater. Fish breathe through gills. We all know that fish breathe through gills. It gulps water through its mouth, which comes out through its gill present on the lateral side of the body. Gills help in absorbing oxygen from the water. Thus, gills helps in breathing. If you see octopus, it's an exception. Octopus do not have a streamlined body. And whales, dolphin, they are mammals. They are not fish, but they are, live in water. They are aquatic habitat. They have blowholes instead of gills, right? And most of the marine life also depends on plankton, that is very tiny organism that grow all over the ocean and provide perfect meal for the larger fishes. If we talk of fresh plant adaptations, so I have here three categories I will discuss. One is fixed floating, then floating, then submerged or underwater plants. So let's talk of फिक्स्ड प्लांट्स फर्स्ट. ठीक है, फिक्स प्लांट की कैटेगरी में हमारे आते हैं ये लोटस, arrowhead. So fixed plants means that their roots are fixed. If you see, the roots are very long and they are fixed to the bottom of the body, water body, such as pond, and stems are very long to reach the surface of the water. So roots are fixed and the stems are long. Very important adaptations is their leaves. If you see, अगर आपने lotus leaf देखी होंगी या फिर other fixed plant like arrowhead, they have very broad leaves because they need to float on water, and the leaves are also having waxy coating to help the leaf to stay dry and prevent rotting. Stomata are present on the upper surface of the leaves, okay, and their stems are hollow, which help the leaf to float. And moreover, when there is a water current, so if the stems are not hollow, they are so they may break down or it may damage the plant. So their stems are hollow. Examples may include water lily also, lotus, and arrowhead. Next category is submerged. Submerged plants are underwater plants. They are fixed to the bottom of the water body and remain fully underwater. Okay? They are completely underwater. Here, the stomata are absent. This is very important. Stomata are completely absent. Carbon dioxide comes out of the leaves through the surface. All right. Underwater plants prepare food using the sunlight that filters through the water. And underwater plants support animal life to a great extent. This is very important because they give out oxygen during photosynthesis, which helps to keep the aquatic animals alive. Their leaves are ribbon-like, so that with the water current, the leaves do not damage. Examples may include pondweed, eelgrass, water stargrass, and hydrilla. नेक्स्ट इज फ्लोटिंग प्लांट्स. फ्लोटिंग प्लांट्स होते हैं जो पानी के अंदर फ्लोट करते रहते हैं, लाइक डकवीड, वॉल्फिया, पिस्टिया, वाटर हायसेंथ, which are, their roots are not fixed, they are freely floating. The surface of the leaves is again waxing to help them not to rot under the water, and the roots are hanging, they are not fixed. So this is all about the habitat and the adaptations of different kinds of plants. Hope you like the presentation. Thanks for watching my videos. If you like the video, please click on the like button and do subscribe my channel. Thank you everyone.